Welcome back to At Home with Roby. I'm Patrick McIsaac from Roby Electric, along with Trent Haston from the Roby family of companies. We are your hosts. Trent, got to watch what we say now. Kenny Smith's in the room.
Oh, Lord. Man, how's it going?
Good. I'll tell you what, I got two recommendations for your show.
Oh, gosh.
One is, I'm afraid I may be driving away some of your audience, so be careful when you have me on. Two, your bumper music, you ought to have a little Sturgill Simpson in there.
Sturgill Simpson is rocking.
Y'all
I like some
Y'all need to
Sturgill
throw a little
Simpson.
Sturgill in there.
I actually was Googling Sturgill's upcoming concert dates the other day to see when he was going to be around.
He was in Charlotte like 2 weeks ago.
I know.
2 weeks
went.
ago.
I
Yeah.
was just looking like if
Only
I can
mayoral
line up
candidate at
with
Sturgill Simpson,
There-
I can assure you.
I like Sturgill. No, why do you not look tired? You look well rested.
I had a couple Mountain Dews on the way over.
There you go.
He does.
No, it's just, I love what I'm doing. I've never had this much fun getting out with folks, sharing your vision for the city, meeting new people. It's invigorating. And the end goal is I want to lead Charlotte. And so you get to go out and, again, share all this stuff with folks, and it's invigorating. It's actually sort of had the opposite effect. Instead of wearing me down, it gives me energy every day.
Well, and you've already lead the city. I mean, you're a city councilman. Obviously, we very much appreciate your service to the city. And there's some really neat stuff we're talking about from the development side of things that you guys had a big meeting earlier in the week, primarily on the Independence Boulevard corridor, right, with Ovens Auditorium, Bojangles Coliseum. Can you kind of bring us up to speed, if those of you that might have missed the meeting or didn't read the paper?
We voted on a project called The Link, and we're going to spend about $18 million connecting Bojangles and Ovens. I'm sitting there using my hands, and we're on radio. It's connecting Ovens and Bojangles. What this is going to allow is events to take place there and be able to utilize both spaces.
Okay.
And so this is actually, I've been, over my career in council, I've been a little critical on stuff at Bojangles Arena. I was not a fan of the amateur sports complex that was supposed to go there. This actually makes a lot of sense. This will allow us to better utilize each venue, bring some development to the east side, which is something that we all want to see happen. Sure. Along with that, and we were discussing off air, the old Coliseum Center is set to redevelop. No state secrets here, but Sonic Automotive is looking at taking down about 8 acres there, and then the rest will turn into small shop retail. So, I mean, we've got a chance for that corridor that at one point, I mean, when we were kids, you probably went to the Army-Navy store.
Oh, yeah.
I got my first throwing star there.
Well, Chinese star.
Yeah.
Well, that was the that Burger King had the best playground in the city.
Yeah.
It was on the other side of town.
Yeah, but we now have a chance for this to happen. And so on Monday night, we voted to support it. We got into little controversy. Councilman Ed Driggs, Republican from District 7, came up with an alternative way to fund it, which I thought was brilliant. We were going to use tourism dollars instead of allocated bond money, and then we were going to take the allocated bond money, and he suggested we could put it into affordable housing and safety, all which works back to our community letter that we sent out last year after the events uptown. And to me, this is a win-win. No need to raise taxes, and we were able to stretch our dollar further. Alternative financing.
Is that how it came? Is that how it got approved?
That's not how it got approved.
Oh, okay.
Then the issue is what had to do with, is it soccer came into play again with that?
I think soccer came into play. We've got about $30 million in tourism funds that could be allocated to soccer. And I think it was politics, too. I think that Ed came up with a good idea. He's a Republican. We're in election season, and I'm not sure that all of my colleagues thought it was such a good idea. But I thought it was a great idea. I mean, that's what we're elected to do. We're elected to come up with alternative solutions to problems.
Outside of the box thinking.
And I've seen some stuff on Twitter and whatnot where folks were calling it Republican dirty tricks or whatnot. And I'm just thinking, when did a good idea become a dirty trick?
Right.
Like, I mean, it was a good idea. We were going to be able to invest up to $18 million into safety and housing, about $12 million safety and housing, and then cover what we needed to cover at the arena. Win-win.
So how far apart are Ovens Auditorium and the Bojangles Coliseum?
I mean,
Not far. I mean, you're talking
a couple hundred yards at most.
So what is the transit going to be?
So it's going to be like a skywalk, but they'll also have some office space in there. It'll have some conference room space. It'll have some space where if you're having an event at Bojangles or Ovens and you want to have like a reception ahead of time. So
there you go.
If Willie Nelson or somebody comes through town, the type folks that may play at Ovens, you can do a pre or post wrap up there. The Checkers are our biggest tenant at Bojangles. This will allow them to do specialized events and moved their corporate offices there. So I mean, there'll be some neat stuff.
Got it. So it's going to spur some development between the two buildings, two properties.
Yeah.
That's great.
Which is much needed. To your point, I mean, I think I heard about Sonic Automotive, but I wasn't sure exactly where that was. But obviously, you cleared that up. Yeah. So in that area is really going to have a huge change in the next couple of years, which is what we need. I mean, it's been sort of in limbo for the last 15 years, guys.
It has, and I think that part of it has always been the uncertainty with 74, and so 74 has been morphing a little more into a highway, but now we sort of know what we're dealing with over there.
Right.
As y'all know, I'm in real estate, work for Will Whitley and Dale Hall at New South Properties. Yep. That was an unpaid advertisement.
You can throw, throw those boys a ring-a-ding.
But I had the frame warehouse listed years ago for sale out on Independence, right before you get to Idlewild. And we had a hard time moving it because you didn't know how much the state was going to come and take for the right-of-way for any work they may do on 74. Now they've got the cloverleaf. That is everything up to that. You know how much land you're going to have.
Right.
And so it gives developers certainties. Developers want certainty more than anything else.
My dad, I don't know if I'm going to get this right, he used to always say the city or the state came in and tried to buy the properties from the business owners along Independence 25 years ago, and they all said, no, we got a gold mine here. And then it strangled them out. But like you say, the unknown is what strangles you out.
Yeah.
Now that they know the way the roads are and they're in place, we can build around it.
You can build around it.
And I'm amazed at the right when you come off 277 on the Independence, such nice houses and residential they're building right up against the road.
Right.
Yeah. It's we've approved several multifamily projects over there. Central Avenue. The Plaza Midwood area is just exploding. It's on fire right now.
You're right.
I mean, everything close to town's on fire.
Right. Yep.
Everything with a close proximity to center city's on fire. And, we've got issues we have to deal with, such as gentrification and some other things that are happening as real estate values are going up. But you can't make more land.
Right.
I saw something. I mean, it's one of those Facebook things, so you can sort of take those with a grain of salt, right? I mean, that Mecklenburg County could potentially be out of developable land by 2030. I don't know. That sounds a little bit.
I know what you're talking about. There's always a way. There's always a way to figure out how to develop them. And I mean, what you'll see and what we're seeing a lot now is in a lot of the trend. And I bet you see this in y'all's business. We're seeing more infill development.
Sure.
You're seeing a lot of townhomes, or single family on smaller lots. And so I mean, people are going to figure out a way to build.
Nah, Central Avenue is really cool. I've been going over there my whole life to Renfro marble and stone, and it's Harkey tile and stone now. So I love coming in Independence on the 277 and looking over to the right, the old Renfro sign with the clock, I think it is. So Reed and Jeff Harkey, I mean, real proud of that sign. I think that's a staple. It's almost as cool as the JFG coffee sign.
Yeah, we had Reed Harkey on the show, and his grandfather used to he would make Reed go set that clock every morning because he told Reed, you know how many people would be late coming into work if our clock was wrong? Because you didn't have your phone where you could just look down at your phone and say, it's 10:02. I mean, people were setting their clocks off the Renfro tile sign.
The JFG is a pretty cool sign.
And then he would go make him unload all the bags of mortar and thin set off the railroad car.
And I bet you he learned. I bet you he learned a good work ethic out of that, right?
Did. I think he's not lazy. So what else is going on in the real estate world? Tee us up for the next segment.
God, South Park's still exploding. Top Golf opened down in Steel Creek, which is great for the city. I hear they're eyeing another site up in the university area. Somebody's trying to put together a project that would be similar to the Music Factory, sort of an entertainment district over out by IKEA.
Really?
To parlay off the Blue Line, which would be really, really cool. There's a lot of good stuff.
So Charlotte has the bandwidth not only to service one Top Golf, but two.
Oh, yeah.
I think that thing is jammed every night.
I know one thing. I live out. You know, I go out that 485 and see it. That parking lot is full every evening, man.
I knew. So they were looking at the Coliseum Center.
That's right.
Years ago, which that would have been a great site. But about the same time, I saw something on HBO Real Sports, and they did a segment on Top Golf, and I'm like, if Bryant Gumbel is talking about a golf/bar entertainment complex, they're pretty big.
Can you stick around with us for another segment, Kenny?
Heck yeah.
All right, buddy. We'll be right back. You listen to At Home with Roby. Stay tuned.